What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some late round receiver targets that could potentially be diamonds in the rough, sleepers, or just valuable pieces that you got late. So let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. Now, before we get this thing started, I do want to let y'all know that this could potentially just be an audio form as well as video form on YouTube. I may put this into a podcast form for some of you out there. If you're interested in that, I will put the link in the description, hopefully the comment section as well. But someone brought it to my attention that they like to watch my videos, but they don't watch the videos. They just listen to the videos, you know, when they're at work and stuff, which is awesome. I appreciate the heck out of that. So they put their phone in their pocket, they listen to it, but it drains their battery because, you know, the video has to play and you can't leave YouTube. You can't turn off the app, I think, unless you get like YouTube Prime or something, but you don't want to do all that. So what if I put the audio from these videos in podcast form, which I could do. I also could do separate things for a podcast. So if you guys are interested in that, we may start doing that with some videos, and this one could be that. So I just want to say that because if it is that, I'm saying that a lot. I want to make sure that you guys know what's out there. And like I said, I'll put the link in the description and hopefully the comment section as well. That way you guys can go check it out. So everybody was saying, hey, I got a haircut in my last video. I didn't even get a haircut. I really did. I just came out of the shower. So I hope I didn't get a haircut because I didn't know I got one, so that's not good. But no, I didn't get a haircut, but hey, okay. So let's talk about some receivers in this video. So we're talking about late round receivers. What qualifies as a late round receiver? To me, it's day 3. It's round 4, 5, 6, 7, or undrafted. That is a late round receiver. So these are the guys that are projected to be late round receivers. And these are players that I either think could be a diamond in the rough, have great, tremendous potential, or potentially could be valuable impact players that people are kind of overlooking for whatever reason. So we're going to talk about those guys in today's video. Now, wide receiver depth is usually very deep in a draft, and you can find talent anywhere. All right, we've seen a lot of hits on late round picks. Just talk about the Lions situation in particular. We need receiver help, and we only have 6 picks in this year's draft. Now, if we trade back, maybe we acquire a 7th round pick, another 6th round pick, some kind of late picks, or potentially as an undrafted free agent, you could potentially sign some of these guys. Now, because I don't know where these players are going to go, and I'm concerned that a few of them could potentially push themselves into day 2, we're going to talk about those receivers first, and then when we get to like number 1 and number 2 on the list, I can almost guarantee those guys won't be day 2 picks, so they'll fit in much, much better. All right, so let's just dive right into this thing. We got 5 players. We got an honorable mention that we'll mention before number 1, so let's get it started. Coming in at number 5, we have a receiver that I'm worried he's going to bounce into day 2 because of an outstanding showing at the Senior Bowl. This is CADE Johnson, the receiver out of South Dakota State, standing at 5'11", 175 pounds. CADE Johnson is a really good player. All right, it's just as simple as that. He's a really good player that went very under the radar because he played for South Dakota State, because he's smaller. But when he got his opportunity to shine in the Senior Bowl throughout practices, he did. He was actually the highest graded receiver at the Senior Bowl. One-on-one drills, he was dominant. This guy was great. He showed his route tree, and it was like, oh, snap, who is this guy? Like, wait, whoa, who is this guy? You see it on the highlights at South Dakota State, but you're like, man, that's South Dakota State. But then at the Senior Bowl, you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. This guy could actually be kind of good. So I'm worried he'll fall in the day 2. That's why I'm mentioning him first. But let's talk about the things I like and don't like about his game. First off, he's pretty fast, okay? Now, he's not the fastest player in this class. There's a lot of fast guys, but fast isn't everything. Because for me, I look at receivers and I think this, okay, fast is great. You can tackles, blocking, like there's a lot of great attributes you can have as a receiver. But to me, the most important one is you got to be able to catch the football. Just as simple, plain and simple as that. You got to be able to catch the ball for me consistently. And CADE Johnson gives you that. He's actually a very good pass catcher. He got 60% of his contested grabs at South Dakota State. 60% for a 5'11", 175-pound receiver. That's impressive. That's very impressive. Only a 5.3% drop rate, which is extremely low when we go to some of the other receivers that we're going to look at in a second. Also, after the catch, he's pretty elusive, okay? He can make guys miss. You know, he can stop on a dime. He gets some yards after the grab. He's very involved in that South Dakota State offense. Now, in the NFL, you'll think he'll be limited to the slot role. However, at the college level, at times, they did line him up on the outside. That's potentially because the other teammates that he had and who they're going against because of matchups. NFL, I don't see that as much, but he has shown you the versatility to play both on the outside and on the inside. Look, the thing is, CADE Johnson's a really good overall receiver that I think could have an impact right away. Some of the concerns with his game is, of course, the competition. You know, he's not playing top level competition week in and week out, which is a little bit concerning. Also, he's a little bit on the smaller side. But for me, man, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a younger and faster Danny Medola. Some of the grabs that he makes. I mean, you'll see diving catches. Now, his catch radius could be a little small because he doesn't have the biggest wingspan, but you'll see him leap, dive out, try to make big plays, and he seems so reliable. I mean, there was a perfect play that I think summed up CADE Johnson just in one play in general. Not the most flashy or explosive player that will get you super excited because he runs a 4.2 40. He's got a lot of good things to his game, but his concentration with the ball in the air is remarkable. There was this throw in the Senior Bowl where he had one-on-one coverage, of course, one-on-one matchups. The cornerback basically grabbed his whole shoulder pad, was holding him like this. He reached out with the left hand and just plucked it out of the air like nothing. Just walked in. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, this guy's legit. K. Johnson, I think he'd go day 2, but if he doesn't, he counts. So, yeah. That's why we got an honorable mention, just in case. All right, now let's dive into number 4. At number 4, we have a speedster. Okay, let's put a speedster in here, because why not? This is TUTU Atwell, the receiver out of Louisville. Standing at 5'9", only 165 pounds, which is a little bit concerning. All right, ain't gonna lie. But TUTU Atwell, he's fun to watch. All right, I know people love speed. Dwayne Eskridge, ooh, that guy's fast. Now, actually, I think Dwayne Eskridge is flying up the boards. Okay, I don't even know if I could count this as a late-round pick anymore. I would definitely be willing to put Dwayne Eskridge on this list. But I think Atwell, I've really started to like Atwell a lot more than I really thought I would. As I continue to watch him, I'm starting to like TUTU Atwell a lot more. Also, another guy like Marquez Stevenson. I was watching him, and, you know, look, he's extremely fast, but speed isn't everything. He doesn't always get open on deep routes. And, you know, he's not used that much down the field. His route tree is so limited. But TUTU Atwell, to me, this guy is a deep threat that has the speed. Now, obviously, he's a little bit smaller. 165 pounds is extremely light. So you wonder how well he's going to do against physical corners. That scares me. Okay, because he didn't go against a lot of press in college. And if he does in the NFL, will he be able to get off the line in those press situations? That's to be determined, in my opinion. But I can tell you this. I can tell you this. He's a deep threat. One of the top receivers in college football in terms of 20-plus yard plays. He can get open deep. He can run right by you. It's that next gear. It's that top-level speed where he's just gone. I mean, if you have time in the pocket, you can be with him 1 second, the next second he's gone. And the thing is, the quarterback play at Louisville was not the best, okay? There were multiple missed passes where he was just burnt, and the quarterback couldn't put it on him, couldn't lead him. He would underthrow it. And there were so many missed opportunities with Atwell. Just a speedster. He would just get deep. The comp I've seen so many times with TUTU Atwell is Tavon Austin. Now, Tavon Austin was a first-round pick. Didn't go that well, right? Not maybe the best pick. However, this guy could be a day 3 pick. And if that's the case, well, I think you got a nice pick there because of where you're getting him. He has a great way to get separation. For whatever reason, he just finds a way to get open. I mean, especially on deep passes, he's great at getting separation. Not even just by pure speed, just the route running ability, just finding the holes at the second level. Now, some concerns I have, of course, like I said, you know, physicality. Also, a concern that I definitely have is the low amount of contested grabs he has. Not all his fault. Sometimes he's just that open, but he's not asked to do that in too many situations. So it's more about the physical side of the game that I'm worried about for him. You know, contested grabs, beating a press. But if you want a very fast player that can get open, and he honestly has solid hands, not tremendous hands. I've seen, you know, some big concerns with some other guys. But, you know, that's what you find with a lot of these late round guys. So he has solid hands, but I am starting to like TUTU Atwell a lot. So I put him on this list. He comes in at number 4 for me, and I think he will be a day 3 pick. I could see him be a 4th round pick. I'm thinking 4th round for Atwell. Now let's move on to number 3. And at number 3 on this list, we have a receiver out of North Carolina. This is DAZZ NEWSOME. 5'11", 190 pounds. Yeah, we're going to stick with the smaller receivers just for a second. That will change very quickly, though. Now, DAZZ NEWSOME is one of the best receivers in college football after the catch. He has tons of forced missed tackles. So I've noticed for some reason, I don't know how to explain this, like broken down route running, you know, kind of just finding holes, and not even necessarily finding holes in his zone, but it's like, okay, if a quarterback has the ball a little bit later and the timing's a little off there because it's not on schedule, it's like off schedule, finding a little bit of a hole and just, you know, continuing his route, but also finding a way to get himself in the vision of the quarterback, which is really cool. His blocking. All right. Now this is probably the biggest reason I like him, because his blocking. You know, I watched this guy's effort, and I saw a play where he was literally blocking one corner and he just pushed him, moved to his right, saw another guy, just started pushing him out of bounds. This is a little dude, right? 5'11", 190. He's not big by NFL standards, but he will block. And I love that. They don't ask him to do a lot, but when he's asked to, he will. That tells me all I need to know about the type of player that he is. So I love that. He's kind of the screen guy for North Carolina. That's what he is. So if you want a guy that you can throw a lot of screens to, you know, quick hitters, boom, get out of your hand, boom. This guy was all over it. He forced a lot of guys to miss, and he can block. So I do like that. Some of the issues, and I hate to say it, body catching. Oh, I hate it, man. But there are some body catching concerns. Look, you're not going to be a perfect prospect if you're a day 3 pick, right? And or if you're going to be a later round pick. Now, DAZZ may not be. I'm not sure. But I do know this. He has some body catching issues because he lets a lot of passes get to his body, and you'll see some drops over time. And I'm like, oh, I hate to see that. But I can tell you this. Quarterbacks, they still have confidence, at least at the college level, to throw the football to him. I wish he would reach a little bit out and kind of go get the football, and I think that's something that he could work on. But for me, that's not who he is right now as a player. He's not as much of a downfield threat as he is an intermediate to short routes. You know, get it to him, let him make plays, and let him block. I think that's kind of what he is. But I definitely like the personality side of it. I think he has, you know, the kind of mindset that I want in a receiver. Just kind of concerns me with catching the ball with his body. So that one's tough for me, but we'll see. I think there's a lot of potential with his game. That moves me to number 2. And at number 2 on this list, we have a receiver that is probably going to be super late. I don't think he'll be undrafted, but he could be like a 6th-round pick. This is Austin Watkins. Austin Watkins is really getting no talk whatsoever. I mean, you can find game footage, but you can't find people really talking about this guy for whatever reason, which makes no sense. The receiver out of the University of Alabama, Birmingham, about 6'3", 210. Some people list him at 6'1", you know, about that range. But again, not the most competition. He's you know what I noticed about him? He doesn't have an exciting trait to his game. You know, a lot of players have a trait. It's something about their game that makes you want to go see it. You know, there's something about what he does that makes you want to check the player out. Is he super fast? Is he really big? Is he, you know, break a lot of tackles? You know, what is it about his game? I don't think he has that. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the biggest guy. He doesn't break all the tackles. In zone coverage, finding a way, kind of like DAZZ NEWSOME, to just find a way to get into quarterback's vision and just find a little bit of a hole. I mean, you're talking about between defenders, just kind of like peeking down, using his body control, catching passes behind him. He has a nice radius, good hands, but great against the zone, great against the zone coverage. You know, just finding a great spot where the receiver can hit him. I got to believe receivers love this guy. He's also a deep threat, okay? And I mean a deep threat. Not the fastest player, but he is a deep threat. You can push the ball down the field to him, and he'll make a lot of plays. You'll see some tremendous contested grabs. But overall, I mean, it's difficult to find deep threats. Just fast doesn't make you a deep threat, all right? There's some fast guys I've watched that doesn't equal consistent deep threat. For him, he's not the fastest player, but he finds a way to be impactful deep down the field, and one-on-ones, he's a problem. His production was a little bit questionable. He's actually a JUCO player first, but his production was a little bit questionable. You didn't see a lot of production there maybe that you would hope for, and I think that's another reason people don't talk about him. He doesn't have production. He doesn't have this exciting quality to his game that's going to fall. To me, what I think I like most of is route running. Kind of gives you a little boom. I mean, he's just making guys just lose them. He just shakes defenders. Boom. Get himself wide open. Boom. I mean, that's the thing, though. If you're not the fastest guy, you got to find ways to get separation, and that's what I like, and I like the fact that he can play on the outside. I think he'd go extremely late, and he's going to end up being, I don't know if he's a diamond. You know, I don't know if that's what he's going to turn into, but I think he's a late-round impactful player that someone's going to like to have. That moves me to my honorable mention. You guys know who it's going to be. It's Nico Collins. Come on, man. Who else would it be other than Nico Collins, man? All right, Nico Collins. I like me some Nico Collins. Here's the thing. Nico Collins, 6'4", 220 I didn't want to spend a lot of time on Nico because I already have a full video just on Nico Collins. So I didn't want to, you know, make you guys have to listen to me talk about it a lot. But that's why I put him as an honorable mention, because I like him. And I also put him as an honorable mention because I think he could go round 3. I see so much talent with Nico Collins. I've seen it for a long time. I know the production isn't there. It wasn't an offense that allowed him to play, I think, his best. You know, if you want a receiver that is a contested, go up and get it type of receiver, that is Nico Collins, in my opinion. For Jared Goff, you want guys with separation. DAZZ NEWSOME, TUTU ATWELL. There's a reason I put these guys on the list, right? Austin Watkins, because they get separation with the route running. That's why I put these guys on the list. Nico, on the other hand, if Jared Goff wants a guy that he can put the ball up and hope that he can win one-on-ones, Nico Collins is, to me, one of the best one-on-one receivers in the league. It's his body control in the air. It's his ball tracking ability. It's tremendous. I mean, it's remarkable how well he can do it. I mean, the ball's up in the air. He can just twist his whole body around, go out and snag the ball out of the air. Makes a ridiculous amount of contested grabs. Separation is not always the best. A little bit lacking at times. He's got underrated top-end speed. He can burn. All right, he can absolutely fly. And, you know, we've heard that from their offensive coordinator tell us that this dude can fly when he's going. Not as much quickness, maybe lacking a little bit of quickness there. It's a tough receiver one-on-one. Some of the concerns, there was no 2020 season for him. He opted out. Yards after the catch, really not much there. I mean, it's usually go up and get it. But that's because they're contested grabs. I feel like contested grabs, you take it out of the air and you're going down because the guy's right on you. But he makes a lot of those tough grabs. So it's like you don't need a lot of space with him, okay? Put him on a 5'11" corner, there's going to be issues. But also the production's not there. I like Nico. I put him as an honorable mention. I don't know if he'd be the best fit for this offense, and I think he could slide himself in day 2, excuse me. But I'd love to have Nico. He's going to be a beast. This guy is projected by some people to be an undrafted free agent, which is nuts. This is Warren Jackson. Guys, I could not stop watching this dude. I could not stop. How is this guy projected to be an undrafted free agent? Out of Colorado State, Warren Jackson is tough. If he goes undrafted, a ridiculous sleeper you picked up. First off, let's talk about his blocking. Oh my goodness. He is 6'. He is 6'5", 6'6", 185 pounds, and he will just throw you out of the play. The effort is unquestioned. All right, there's never a moment where he's not trying to block somebody and trying to hit somebody. Now, he's a little bit slight to frame, a little bit smaller to frame, okay? Calvin was 6'5", 240. This guy's 185. Definitely needs to maybe put on some weight. But the effort is always there in run blocking, and I cannot help but love it. Also, what I like is his contested grabs. Over 50% of the passes thrown to him in contested situations he came down with. So he won the majority of the contested grabs thrown his way. What I like is when you get him in a press situation, people have concerns with how well he's going to handle the press with his size, but I see him be able to handle a press without even having to using his hands right off the release, which is impressive how good that footwork is right off the snap. I mean, it's smooth. Things that I'm a little bit worried about is the closing speed. Now, what does that mean as a receiver? It's really when the ball's in the air or if it's a deep pass, it's kind of the next gear. It's the next level. He doesn't really seem to have that in his game. So it's that kind of speed. It's also, okay, ball's like 10 yards away. Can he really close down that gap and go get it if it's an overthrown pass? I don't see that type of speed. He's not the most physical as a receiver. You know, he's not very physical as a receiver, which is tough too because you don't want pass interference calls, but he's a physical blocker, just not as much a receiver. And he didn't play in 2020, what I think is another reason he's going to kind of forgot again. But I think quarterbacks love this guy. This guy line up at slot. I mean, you can put him anywhere. He's versatile. Quarterbacks gotta love this dude. He can make tons of different plays. He can be productive. I mean, he can have monster games where he's just tough. He's just tough. And I think he can get separation because, again, he's not just relying on speed. He can get separation off the release, but he also has the size to just go up and take the ball out of the air. He goes out and snags it. There's no passes where he doesn't make an effort to go get it. Now, sometimes he's not able to always pull the ball in. All right, he can get that kind of ripped out. And that's why I say he doesn't play physical as much as a receiver, because I think he could put on a little weight, because you'll see, like, if it's a ball at arm's reach, trying to pull it in, he doesn't always have the strength to do it, but he'll make effort after every single pass thrown his way. He's going to be, if he goes undrafted or 7th round, this is going to be a solid player. I have a feeling about it. So that's why he comes in at number 1. So there you go. Some late round receivers that the Lions could possibly target. I think a lot of other guys could be in this list. The receiver class is so deep every year, man. So there's so many guys you can talk about. But I wanted to come up with a little list here. And here are the 5 that I have so far. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching. And I'm out.